1970, we sure we did before front. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. This is a show that we talk about the University of Benin, especially the alumni, the product of the great institution, men and women that are doing wonders in the world in different endeavors. And on today's episode, we have a lawyer. He is a lawyer. I was one time Attorney General of the Student Union Government of UNIBEN, and is currently a commissioner with the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission. Is Honorable Hope Osarodion Imafidon. Thank you, Honorable, for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning, boss. I want us to start from the very recent FCT Council elections. This is within your jurisdiction, rather. And I know your commission and yourself must have monitored how it went in Abuja, in the Federal Capital Territory. There was something concerning for people like us, that it was not just about the result or the political party that emerged, but for us, it was about the voters' turnouts. With the statistics provided by INEC, with the electoral body, 14% of voters came out to vote for the election, which is not it's not something we are pleased with if we are sincere about promoting our democracy. Out of the 1.6 million Nigerians resident in FCT that registered for voting, just a little above 239,210 residents of FCT participated in that council election. Let's bring it down to Edo State. What is the commission doing to ensure that there is no voter apathy in Edo State, that most Edo State residents come out and vote when the council election comes up later this year?
Okay, thank you very much, my brother, Mr. Kelvin Omokaro. Well, as one of the commissioners in Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, when we came on board, we set machineries in motion. We discussed with a lot of our staff here to know what had transpired before our emergence. As soon as we came, we gathered all the staff. We gathered the staff as well as all the stakeholders in the state. You know, in conducting an election of this nature, you have to gather everybody to know what their stakes are that have to do with the election. And what formed the pivotal role was to go on on tour assessment to the 18 local governments in Edo State. We went there to see our heart offices, to know what is happening there, to see our staff in the heart station, to see the local government chairmen and the entire local government, indigenes and inhabitants in the various local governments, in order for us to know their plight, to know their challenges, so that we'll be able to sensitize them on the election that is coming up on the 11th day of July 2026. You know, you cannot do an election of this nature in isolation with the electorate. As we met with the local government chairman and the local government administrators, as it were, we had to meet with the electorates too. We sensitized them on what to do. We encouraged them that their votes this time will count. As you noticed in the last in the just concluded by-election that our commission held, a lot of persons came out. So
okay, sorry, I lost you at some point actually because of the network problem. Okay, still on the elections. The last election that was held in 2023 by your commission, but I know it was not the composition of the commission. You were not a member at then. But the commission held the local government, the local council election in 2023, 3 years ago, and we just had 3 political parties contesting the election. Others had to withdraw and support other political parties. But at the end of the day, we just had 3 political parties contesting that election. For a striving democracy, for a developing democracy, do you think that is enough options for the electorate? With just 3 names on the ballot, do you think Edo people deserve more competent candidates on the ballots?
Of course. I believe if a lot of political parties become interested in fielding candidates for local government election, they should come forward, because we are not going to deny anybody participation. When you participate, the job is now left for you to go to the electorates to sell your candidates, to them, tell them their antecedents, tell them what they have done before, tell them what they are going to do in order for them to win election. Because election is about galvanizing interest. It's about galvanizing people to be able to vote for your candidates. So our job is to conduct free election. It is not for us to really dictate or decide how many political parties that want to participate in the electoral processes. So if they are interested, they are free to bring forward their candidates so as to seek elective positions. Thank you.
Yeah, I quite agree on the mandate of your commission, which you just re-emphasized, which is to conduct election irrespective of the number of political parties that want to participate. Still on your commission, you have you mentioned earlier that the election has been slated for July 11th later this year. Yes, and I do not think that the campaigns have started yet. The commission has not issued out a statement kicking off the campaign. But what is the commission doing about? Because we have seen campaign have started in some sorts, especially on social media. And to be fair to these politicians, some of these campaigns are not done by them. They are done by maybe supporters, passionate supporters who think that there is a particular candidate they wish to support, and they go out to make posters, to make campaign materials for them. which we know is against the electoral guidelines, especially when campaigns have not started. What is the commission doing in this regard? How is the sensitization going, especially towards the prospective candidates, or yes, the prospective candidate as it is now? How is the commission trying to inform them about what they need to do and what you should try to, how they should discourage their supporters to take it down a bit and wait for the official kickoff of campaign?
Okay, well, sometimes it is usually difficult to tell these politicians not to go about their stuffs. But to the best of my knowledge, I have not seen or heard where members of political parties do campaigns or bring forth their candidates that want to contest for various offices. And just recently, my commission released a notice of election. For anybody that has been following the activities of the commission, we released a date for the election. That is why I authoritatively say the election will commence. The election proper will take place on the 11th day of July 2026. Well, by the beginning of April this year, we will have the stakeholders meeting, wherein all the stakeholders that are involved in the local government election will come around. We sensitize them on their various roles and activities prior to the election processes. Then from there, we will conduct the primaries of the various political parties. That will be done in April, precisely from on the 10th to on the 8th or 10th or thereabout. We will conduct the primaries. When the various political parties now have their candidates, we will open the campaign processes. They will start campaigning. People will start jostling for political parties per se, will start jostling for votes. So we have put the proper machineries in place for all the activities outlined to be properly taken care of. So, like I said earlier on, we are really firing on all cylinders to be able to conduct a free, fair, credible election that all Edo-lites, all the people resident in Edo State will be proud of. So, just watch out for all the activities. You will see them on both print, social and electronic media. So we are up and running, and by the grace of God, we'll be able to conduct the election peacefully, and everybody will be happy at the end of the day.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, I want you to speak this time as a Nigerian. My very foremost question was about the statistics provided by INEC about the voter turnout in the last FCT council election, which was at 14%. If we look back to the Edo State gubernatorial election in 2024, that was at about less than 25% came out to vote in that election as well. Also, if we look at the presidential election that brought in Senator Tinubu as president, we had less than 25% in that election. Do you think that Nigerians are not showing enough interest? It is obvious they are not showing enough interest in our process, in our electoral process. What do you think are the problems? What do you think are the challenges? Is it about the electorate not having trust in the electoral process, or is it about the living condition of Nigerians and how detached they are to the political office holders? What do you think are the challenges, or are the issues that make us to have quite not too progressive numbers when it comes to voters turnout?
And you know that this issue of voter apathy did not just start today.
Yeah.
It didn't start today. It has been endemic. It is something that has been on for a very long time. Some of the electors believe their votes don't count, and some of them believe the elites are there for their selfish interest. But you know, if you begin to sit on the fence, you do not participate in electoral processes, how do you want the country to move forward? How do you want the country to move forward? It is by participating as either a voter or as someone being voted for that you begin to understand how it works. To my mind, not speaking as a politician now, I know the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, is actually trying to see how best the economy of the country can be fixed so that the living condition of Nigerians will be improved. But some of us Nigerians are in a hurry to see the dividends of democracy. They are in a hurry. They don't want to relax a bit, see how the reforms work, so that in the long run, we will all enjoy the dividends of democracy. Well, like I said before now about we trying to sensitize the public about coming out to participate in electoral processes. I believe it will be incumbent on the Independent Electoral Commission too to sensitize the public, to make them understand that their votes will count. I believe Professor Joash Amupita, who is the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, I believe he will be able to set the machineries in motion to encourage Nigerians to come out and exercise their franchise. The same thing applies to the Edo resident electoral commissioner, Professor Onobum Onwara, because in all these things we say, we tend to narrow it to Edo State, tend to narrow it down to Edo State, yeah, because it is our primary constituency. Yeah. So I will encourage the resident electoral commissioner in Edo State and his team to be able to come out and sensitize our people, to make them believe that INEC is on the right track, to make their votes count, because it is a country that works, that everybody tends to associate with. I know it has quite been challenging for the population of this country. They believe that the elites, in quotes, the political elites, are not doing the best for the country to be better. But God willing, like the Muslims will say, inshallah, when we continue to participate in electoral activities, to my mind, meetings too, that the country will be better for it. I will encourage them as a stakeholder and as a commissioner in the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, one that is involved in the electoral processes too. I'll use the medium to encourage our teeming youth, most especially, because the youths are the leaders of now and tomorrow. They are not just the leaders of tomorrow. They should brace up for the challenges. Ahead. Take the bull by the horn. Participate in electoral processes. I believe to the glory of God, the country will be better for it, and we will all be happy.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Let's talk about our alma mater, your university, my university, the University of Benin. You hold a diploma degree in law from the university before you had your Bachelor of Laws, so you are quite conversant with the environment. You are UNIBEN true and true. Yeah, what inspired your move to study law at the institution? What made you, what pushed you to study law? Were there individuals that you looked up to, or were there maybe your parents or anybody that inspired you to study law?
Okay, there were numerous factors that inspired me to study law. One, and the most important thing was seeing some persons' rights being trampled upon. While I was growing up, I saw a lot of persons that were looked down on because of their moral, economical, and financial standings in the society. That was the first thing that inspired me to say, I want to make a difference. I want to grow up, study law, so as to be able to defend this individual. Then, secondly, while we were growing up, we saw that law, medicine, and engineering, so to say, were
professional courses, as they call it.
Yes, so like they say, to study a professional course in the university.
Yeah.
So yeah. I really wanted the name lawyer or esquire to be added to my name, because when I was growing up, Chief Ganifa of blessed memory was one person that inspired me. Chief Michael Zekometu, Femi Falana, and my father and my mentor, Professor Edoba Moregie, SAN, the Vice Chancellor of the Great University of Benin, was one of the persons that inspired me too, because I followed him. I remember I spent quite a number of years in the University of Benin. If I'm not mistaken, I spent up to 10, 11 years in the institution. When in 2004 was when I got admission to do diploma in law in the University of Benin. My second cousin, one of the former chairman of Ikobaka local government, Dr. Eric Osayende, came to my father's house one day, came to greet my dad. So when he got to my father's house, he was asking Osarodion, what do you do now? I said, Pa, I don't do anything for the time being. He said, why don't you come to the University of Benin and probably start by doing a diploma program? I then said, okay, no problem, sir. My dad and I discussed it. And later on, I proceeded to the school to pick the diploma in law form. I started doing diploma in law program. I did it for a few terms. I did it for I did it for the duration of time. I finished and I applied to I wrote a post. I wrote jam. I wrote jam. I remember it was in AAU, one of their lecture theaters. I wrote that jam. I got admission, and I discovered it was philosophy. I looked at it and then said, philosophy? How does philosophy even sound like? I was like, maybe the thing was like law. So I proceeded, I did all my clearance, and I started attending classes.
Sorry, was that at the University of Benin?
Yes, University of Benin, precisely. Okay. Yes, University of Benin. So then Professor Otakbo, now retired. Professor Ukagba, Professor Tony Asekauno, just name them were my lecturers. So when I began to attend classes, I later discovered the word philosophy was an abstract course. It was not like law. I then said, how will I continue to be in this place? And funny enough, because my mind was not too there, I had series of carryovers because it was not my thing, including the simplest GST, Nigerian Peoples and Cultures, Philosophy and Logic. I have carryovers. So I sat there and then said, is this what I want to do in life? When I was doing philosophy, I started writing jam again, and writing post UTME, and on one fateful day, I sat down with one of my friends, Godwin Oganevo, because we read together. Then when I hadn't gotten admission to the University of Benin, I then said, "Oh no, you try this post direct entry once more." He then said, "No problem." So we tried the post direct entry. Then I was in 200 level, going to 300 level in philosophy.
Okay.
I gave it a shot. I haven't written the exam. I was in class one day when my friend, the same Godwin, called me and said, Osarodion, check your post D. I then said, all this one person they read, and usually person not they pass. He said, "Guy, they give me admission." As soon as he said it inspired me.
You're encouraged.
Yeah. Let me just go and check this my result. When I said it inspired me, I actually knew the word to use, because I really didn't want to check. When he told me, it reminded me of the fact that I wrote that exam. I just said, let me just go to a cyber cafe around school and check.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I checked the result and I was given law admission. I just said, oh wow, to hell with philosophy. So I went home. I told my dad that I've been given law admission. I became happy. So that is actually the long and short story of me being a lawyer today.
Yes, that's quite interesting and as encouraging as well. Let's talk about your time as a law student. You did a lot of you were involved in a lot of activities, more politically. You were at one time you were elected as the Attorney General of the Student Union government. How was UNIBEN like for you? As a student leader, how was your time at UNIBEN? And also, it's a two-legged question. What are the lessons UNIBEN taught you? What did you learn from your time at the institution?
Well, at the beginning, it was quite challenging. It was quite challenging because I combined both my academic activities with political activities too. It was quite challenging for me at the beginning, but as time went on, I began to enjoy it. I know several times that my classmates would be in class, while classes were going on. Some persons will call me, probably send me text messages to say, we are going somewhere, we have a meeting with either the vice chancellor or some other stakeholders in the university. Sometimes some of my classmates will say, you sure say this guy will graduate soon, because it was really quite challenging having to combine academics with political activities. But I'll give credence to one of my mentors too, Professor Faith Osama Sadolo, who inspired me even when I was one of the least qualified students that fight for the position of Attorney General in the great University of Benin. He never looked down on me. He never saw my size. He never saw my shortcomings. He stood by me and told some persons that cared to listen that I was the next Attorney General of the institution. I appreciate him because he was one of the few persons that has molded me to becoming who I am today. I extend my gratitude to him, even if I do not meet him from time to time, to tell him that I appreciate all he did for me. The same thing goes to the former Vice Chancellor, Professor Sayuki Oshodi of blessed memory. Well, when in the student union government then, he provided the necessary support for us so that we'll be able to discharge the duties of our offices. Well, going to the second question you asked.
Yes, your biggest lesson from UNIBEN. Yes.
Yes, my biggest lesson from the University of Benin is one, to be humble. To be humble, because it is my humility that has really brought me this far. I sleep, I eat, and I wake up the University of Benin. The University of Benin has added a lot of value to me. I make both to saying it, I make both to telling anybody that I am a proud product of the proud alumnus of the great University of Benin, because like we all say then, it's after UNIBEN, it's UNIBEN, and UNIBEN leads and other institutions follow. The University of Benin is a school that has a lot of values to you, not just in academics, but in morals. If I did not attend the University of Benin, I don't think I would have attended any other institution in the country. So the University of Benin, like I said, really molded me, and the institution made me whom I am today, and I'm so proud of it.
Lastly, you mentioned your close relationship with the. You mentioned your relationship with the current Vice Chancellor, and we are so proud of him because he's actually the very first Vice Chancellor we are having who is an alumnus with a bachelor's degree from our institution. As I was saying, you mentioned your relationship with him, which I said we are quite proud of him, and
Yes.
you have a personal relationship with him. Can you let us know that's one singular issue you have raised with him, especially as an alumnus, and you are quite a younger alumnus than himself, that you want an improvement on at our university?
Okay. When I say I have a personal relationship with the vice chancellor, is like my father.
Yes.
He's like my father, as well as he's like an elder brother. Funny enough, we just spoke this morning. He was even the one that woke me up this morning. We had a new discussion on some very important issues. Well, it will interest you too that when the vice chancellor of the University of Benin came on board as the vice chancellor, he beckoned on me to actually work with him in order to take the institution Dorado. I yielded the call. I yielded his call, and I worked with him. Unfortunately, my working with him was short-lived because of my appointment here.
Yeah.
So he is someone I really look up to, and apart from graduating from the institution, I am a student of the institution again now, because I just purchased a master's degree form to do my LLM, to do my master's in law. So what I will actually want the vice chancellor to improve on is human capital development. As God will have it, he is the first indigenous alumnus, or the first indigenous alumni to be appointed as the 11th vice chancellor of the great University of Benin. So I want him to breed the younger sets, the younger alumni, so that they'll be able to take up leadership skills, so that there will be no vacuum. It will not be out of place if after him we have some other alumnus that are vice chancellor of the University of Benin. So I want him to improve more on capital development. I know he's doing that already. It is for him to improve on it, and again to put the university on the world map. Like like we all say, when we were students of the institution, that UNIBEN leads and others followed.
Yeah.
We want it to be replicated. We want it to be replicated physically. We want it to be implemented, so that the University of Benin will continue to maintain its pride of place amongst our community of universities. So these are the two important things I want the vice chancellor to really work on, so that we'll be able to have a better UNIBEN.
Thank you very much, Honorable. It has been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you for answering our call. And we know that when we call you in the future, you will always be there for us. Thank you. And thank you for keeping the UNIBEN flag flying.
By the special grace of God, UNIBEN will continue to be in the world map. We will do our possible best to be able to promote the image of the university.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, again, I sincerely want to thank and appreciate you for this initiative. You are You are one person I have known since our university days, since our struggles in to make the University of Benin a better place. I want to thank you for this your series. I want to thank you for this initiative, for making the University of Benin to go global. You know, with this your singular initiative, I believe the University of Benin will continue to flag its flag higher. And I thank you so much for all you have been doing. And I extend my heartfelt gratitude too to your team, having been able to put this laudable initiative together. I thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for your kind words. We really appreciate you. Thank you. I've been speaking with Honorable Hope Osarodion Imafidon Esquire, a lawyer, former Attorney General of the Students' Union Government of the University of Benin, and currently a commissioner with the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission. Continue to subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you more exclusive interviews of UNIBEN alumni. Bye.